The Pregnacare Show is proudly brought to you by
Phenomenal Water, changing people's lives.
Expecting your first baby could be a whole lot to anticipate for. A first-timer would want to know if she's ready to be a mother. How can she cope with the entire journey of pregnancy till she goes into labor? And how scary or safe is the pregnancy journey? There shouldn't be a right or wrong feeling once you find out you are pregnant. It is joyous to be expecting a baby or to become a mother. What then should I know as a newly? One would want to know. On today's episode, we will be discussing what to expect as a first-time pregnant woman. Welcome to Pregnacare, an interesting, informative, and educative show where we talk everything pregnancy, delivery, post-delivery, and all other medical conditions in pregnancy. My name is Dede, and I will be your host for this program. Welcome to Pregnacare. On today's episode, we will be talking about what a first-time pregnant woman should expect. And with us here today, we have a doctor who is not just any other doctor, but an obs and gynae specialist. He will be telling us what a pregnant woman should expect. Doc, welcome to Pregnacare.
Thank you.
Viewers, we'll go for a short commercial break. When we come back, the show still continues.
This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome. If you just joined us, it's still Pregnacare. Doctor, you are welcome to Pregnacare once again.
Thank you.
So for the sake of our viewers, we'd want to know who you are and what you do.
Okay, my name is Alison. I'm an obstetrics and gynecology specialist. Here we see pregnant women and also offer all the services which a pregnant woman needs. This begins from the beginning of the pregnancy journey, through the antenatal period, deliveries, and even the postnatal period. So we offer all the services, normal delivery, we have a theater in place, and we also have all the facilities to monitor pregnancy from the beginning to the end.
So doctor, with what you've told us, we want to find out per our topic, who is a new pregnant woman? Who do we define as a new pregnant woman? Because I know in the health sector, we have people we call the primates and then the newly primates. So who are those people?
Okay. So a new pregnant woman means that a woman who is pregnant, okay, and a pregnancy which is normal and for the first time. Although we need to differentiate this. A first-time pregnant woman, especially for somebody who is carrying a normal pregnancy, there are instances whereby this could qualify for somebody who has had a miscarriage before, but now carrying a normal pregnancy. Or it could just be a first-time pregnant woman who has never had any previous bad outcomes, but this is her first pregnancy she's carrying. And we call those people the primary gravida, like you just mentioned. So the nulliparous woman, the ones who have, who has never achieved like a normal delivery, okay? So a first-time pregnant woman, usually pregnancy comes with a lot of excitement, especially when somebody misses her period and then probably do a home pregnancy test and then confirm that they are pregnant. It comes with a lot of excitement, joy. For sometimes it comes with mixed feelings. especially if the pregnancy wasn't planned, because half of the pregnancies are usually not planned.
Okay.
But pregnancy, as it encompass, comes with a lot of joy,
Okay.
anticipation, and excitement.
So we want to find out, someone who has not been pregnant before, what shows that she's pregnant? Well, how can she confirm that she's actually pregnant? Because that's the first time she might not know. Is there any confirmation to pregnancy?
So for somebody who has a regular cycle, like a regular normal menstrual cycle, she sees her menses every month. Usually, if she doesn't see her menses on the required time, and probably like she has had, let's say like an intimacy with a partner, if she missed that cycle, especially on the time she was expecting it, then most likely that could be a pregnancy.
Okay.
And nowadays, with the home pregnancy test available almost everywhere, you can just walk in any chemist shop and then get the home pregnancy test, do the test in the house. Once you see the 2 lines, it indicates that somebody is pregnant. And these things is very easy to do, because what you need is just get an early morning urine, dip it in, wait for like less than 3 minutes, and then you will see, if it's a positive pregnancy test, you will see the 2 lines. If it's negative, you may just see only 1 line. So once a woman sees that, sometimes it also comes with some symptoms too. Like for some women, some may not really do the pregnancy test quite early. So sometimes, what they will see some changes in their body. The commonest are usually, like, let's say, feeling breast being heavy, nipple pain, breast being sore. And later on during the pregnancy, especially if they hit 6 to 9 weeks and the woman have not still confirmed the pregnancy, then they start, experiencing the pregnancy symptoms. And this is mostly due to the hormones, because during this time, the pregnancy hormones are going up. So once that takes place, then they start having the morning sickness, okay? Sometimes we call it morning sickness, but not necessarily morning, because most of the time, women will have the nausea, vomiting throughout the day. Could be in the morning most of the time, could be afternoon or evening, but not necessarily like the pregnancy symptoms will only happen in the morning, but most of the time we call it morning sickness. So it comes with that. And another time it can come with frequent urination, sometimes with low abdominal cramps. Okay, there are instances, although not very common, whereby some, especially during the implantation, that usually coincides with the time the woman is expecting to see her menses and have missed it. Sometimes some women may have some spotting or bleeding, small bleeds. And this can sometimes even confuse some women, thinking that, oh, maybe this is my period. But during those times, it's just probably an implantation bleed. Okay, but if a woman has missed their cycle, confirmed the pregnancy, and they see bleeding, it's something worrisome. So whenever that happens, they need to at least consult their GP or their midwife, at least to have an understanding of what is going on. But is it something normal or not?
Okay. So we want to find out, when someone realizes she's pregnant and she's confirmed it, what is the actual time for her to start an antenatal clinic? She should wait till she sees her belly coming out, or she could just walk to the clinic and then start antenatal? Because you have cases where someone will be like, okay, the pregnancy is not out, I wouldn't want to go now, I want to wait till it comes out. So what actual time should such a person start antenatal class?
Mm-hmm. So for our first-time pregnant women, a lot of the time, like I said, it comes with a lot of excitement. So for those ones, they tend to, majority of the time, tend to book very early. Oh, okay. So we tend to have problems with those who have maybe previous experience. Maybe they've had 1 or 2 or 3 before. Now they feel like, they are boss in pregnancy, so they tend to wait a lot. But it's always good to have, once you confirm the pregnancy has taken place, to report quite early. 6 to 8 weeks is good, because at least then we can do our scans. Maybe if we cannot do it at the facility, we'll ask you to do a scan just to confirm where the pregnancy is, because it's very important to have an early scan to know where the pregnancy is, help with the dating of the pregnancy, and also know how many pregnancies the woman is also carrying. Okay, because all these things now will help, especially in our counseling, subsequently with regards to the pregnancy. So once a woman confirms that they are pregnant, within the next week or so, especially if you do it quite early, you need to at least report to the hospital so that at least they will take it off from there.
So doctor here has been telling us that for a first-time pregnant woman, you need to confirm actually you are pregnant when you have those signs and symptoms, like probably an increase in the size of your breast. You might be having morning sickness. But he says it's not everybody who has a morning sickness. And when you realize you are pregnant and it's been confirmed, from then you can start your antenatal class or school, because through those process, the antenatal school, you are going to do lots of screenings and scans that will help you prepare towards your pregnancy. And then if there is anything abnormal from the pregnancy, it is best detected when you come for antenatal early. We'll go for a breather. When we come back, the discussion still continues.
This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome back. If you just joined us, it's still Pregnacare. Before the break, we were told that it is good and much reasonable for a pregnant woman to start her antenatal school or class early, and also that it is normal for a pregnant woman to experience morning sickness, but then it is not everybody who experiences this. So chill out when you don't experience this. So doctor, we want to know how involving is males in the pregnancy of their new pregnant wives.
Yeah. So the participation of men is very important, especially in the journey of pregnancy. It is something we are battling with, but now we are seeing the numbers are increasing. Okay. Previously, you hardly see men participating in the journey of the pregnancy. But nowadays, with like the enlightened men and also trying to also engage the first-time pregnant woman to also involve the partner, we are seeing at least more men are coming out to the antenatal clinic. It's very important because it helps the woman to confront like the pregnancy together, and also like some of the health talks we normally give, especially during the antenatal care too. The man also at least listening to some of those classes and also understanding what to expect and what are the danger signs, because some of the danger signs can happen just very unpredictable. They can just happen like that without you having any prior risk factors or so. So you find out that if somebody like has had any prior knowledge of what to expect in the pregnancy, when they notice those things, then the partner will be able to help.
I'm actually asking this because during my research work in school, I did male involvement in antenatal. So when I went to the field to collect my questions and my questionnaires, my data actually, the men were like, the pregnancy is for the woman, I need to work, I need to do, they were not involved. I don't know if it's where I went to collect my data or probably it's a general perception. So what is the health sector, or what do you do to encourage the men to come? Because I learned somewhere, or I've heard somewhere, when you go with your husband or your partner, you are being attended to quicker than someone who just comes alone. Is it true?
Okay, I've heard of that thing. I think it was on the social media, and generated a lot of discussions. Okay, I think it was a little misconstrued. Yes, we tend to encourage men to participate, but that doesn't necessarily mean that when somebody comes with their man, like those who have not come with their partners, they're going to be neglected at the antenatal clinic. Okay, yes, we want the participation of men, because we found out that those who have their partners participating in the pregnancy, okay, they tend to have a very nice, pregnancy journey, and also even the outcome too also improves very, very much. Okay, so that's the main thing why we tend to at least encourage men to participate.
In pregnancy is very important because it helps in a successful pregnancy journey. So we hit the street to find out what our viewers have for us. Our first-time pregnant women, probably they want to share an experience or ask a question.
When I got pregnant, I wasn't really surprised because I wanted to be pregnant and I got pregnant. So there was nothing surprising about it. I was the type that anytime I get pregnant, I vomit. Early morning sicknesses like vomiting, maybe during brushing of the teeth. And I was one person, I hardly bath when I get pregnant. I am normally not in, I bath once a day, and even that, it is late in the night after going to eat, then I'll bath. And it wasn't even a proper bathing, I just pour some water on me. I'm in a hurry to come and lie on my bed because I'm tired.
Me yere nyi me and manage pa. Me so make sure say me hwe no so yi. Say na be ya menya me yere menya me ba.
I felt nervous for the first time. I heard that my wife was pregnant, and I even had a running stomach that day. Okay, I wasn't prepared all that much, but everything happens for a reason, so I was cool with that.
I have cravings when I'm pregnant.
So me hu say oba anyem na ofi. Ne say na na aha me. And me make sure say me nya bi ampa so menya sa we ni bi. No you okay to the time okodo hospital so okodi be eboso me. Every day be make sure say me call hot me hwe no. Akosi time odinya na man me enu na.
So some of the things I did for my wife was I sometimes wash for her and even cook for her anytime.
So those were some questions and comments from the streets. Doctor, one of our viewers who is a first-time pregnant woman, she would want to know what she should avoid during her pregnancy. Is there anything special that she has not to do or she shouldn't eat during the entire period of pregnancy?
Yeah, so that's a very interesting question and also quite valid because in pregnancy there are do's and don'ts. Okay, so do's of pregnancies are usually the woman should take her prenatal medication, make sure to at least take enough fluids. All right. If she's having the morning sickness, probably just avoid fatty foods, eat frequently in small bits. Okay, and so those are some of the things at least she can do to help with the pregnancy. And some of the things she needs to avoid is, which is not a big problem here, especially in Ghana. For those who smoke, avoid smoking. For those who take any alcohol, so try to do that. Should not even go near it, no matter how small the amount is, because those are the things which can really affect the pregnancy, can increase your risk for miscarriages, or even if the baby develops, can come up with some problems. Okay, and other things is, if you're going to prepare your food, make sure at least your fresh vegetables, you wash them very well, because otherwise, sometimes there's always a risk of having a food poisoning or so. And then avoid maybe like raw eggs. Okay, basically our diet here is not like a problem that much, but these are just some of the things one needs to at least take into consideration. We don't have problems with people having sauna bath. Okay, so that's also another thing which people have to avoid. One can do their exercise, walk around, which is quite good because the exercise also helps you to gain energy to be able to go through the pregnancy journey. You can eat, but you also have to watch how much you eat. Okay, depending on your weight, sometimes we tend to cancel how much maybe the woman should take. If somebody is overweight or obese, you have to watch how much you take, because sometimes if you eat too much, you gain too much weight, the baby will come out very big, and when it comes to the pushing, then it becomes trouble. And then now your risk for maybe cesarean or operative deliveries now become higher. So these are just some of the tips which we can share with them at least to take care of.
So what about chemicals? Does it also have effects on the pregnancy? X-ray, radiations, those who work at those radiation centers and they are pregnant, what is the relation? Yeah,
so with regards to the chemicals, so I will add over-the-counter drugs, right. Especially we live in a society whereby people like to do over-the-counter treatment, meaning doing self-medication in the house. Once somebody misses her cycle, confirm that they are pregnant, being a first time, you always have to try and avoid taking drugs which are not prescribed by your doctor, okay? And also avoid herbs, okay, which is also quite common in our environment, okay? People take herbal medications, which sometimes can also have adverse effect on the pregnancy. For those who are professionals, maybe working in X-ray departments, maybe radiology assistants, okay, once they are pregnant, even as part of their job protocols, most of them, usually we tend to tell them to avoid, stop them from working in that kind of environment. Because especially in an early pregnancy, the first 3 months, whereby all the organs are developing, you don't want to expose that pregnancy to a radiation because it can also have an implications on the outcome of the baby.
So our next comment is actually an experience from a first-time pregnant woman. She's saying her pregnancy, she's been okay, the husband has been supportive, and the journey has been successful. So she is encouraging that men should get involved in the whole pregnancy process. So viewers, Doctor here has been talking to us, and he has alerted us that there are lots of things that can cause your pregnancy to miscarry. So let's avoid the use of over-the-counter drugs, avoid excessive exposure to radiations, avoid eating unhealthy diets, eat healthy, have minimum exercise, and have enough rest to get a successful pregnancy and a healthy baby. We'll go for a short commercial break. When we come back, Doctor will tell us something interesting.
This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome. If you just joined us, it's still Pregnacare, and I am Dede, your host. So before we went for the commercial break, Doctor was telling us that it's very important to keep a healthy pregnancy. How do we do that? By eating well and healthy, avoid smoking, avoid drinking of alcohol, and try as much as possible to visit the clinic to confirm that you are actually pregnant. And let's avoid using over-the-counter drug. When you have any problems in pregnancy, speak to your doctor, or you can speak to your midwife. Up next is our couple moment.
Being a first-time couple, or parents, I should say, was very great. The feeling of being expectant of things that will come your way, for example, the babies you're going to make and all that. So it was great being a first-time couple or parent.
Being a first-time parent is one of the best things that ever happened to me. It's actually a feeling that cannot be fully described. I really felt great being a parent for the first time. In my first pregnancy, I expected that my body would go through some changes. Yes, and then at the end of the changes, I was expecting to deliver a baby safely. When I first missed my menstrual period, I visited the hospital, and then my details were taken, and I was given the date for my first antenatal actually. And
some of the changes I saw, as far as I can remember, one of them typically has been the fact that she's got some swollen feet. She gained a bit of weight, and she wasn't active. She was less active. She wouldn't wake up early. Usual spitting here and there, minus the usual vomiting of expectant mother. That she did not do. So those are some of the changes that I saw in her.
Some of the changes I saw during my first pregnancy were swollen feet. I wasn't vomiting, but there were some morning sicknesses here and there, and I also gained weight. Being first-time parent is not always about fears and worries. There's so much to it, so you should embrace it and enjoy yourself.
On my part, the truth is, being a first-time parent, it's not easy. That's the truth. Apart from being expecting babies and here and there, the truth of the matter is you have to prepare. You will have to prepare materially, you will have to prepare spiritually, and everything in expectant of your baby or your babies coming your way. And so the truth is, it is not going to be easy, but you would have to prepare for it.
that was a couple moment. Doc, a viewer would want to know, can one still bleed or have a menses during the pregnancy period? Because personally, I've had instances where a woman comes to the hospital, she's probably 6 months, 5 months, and she's like, she didn't even know she was pregnant because she's been seeing spots of blood. Then we confirm and we realize that she's actually pregnant. So do we have bleeding during the pregnancy as menses?
Okay, so yes, this is something we encounter, especially at the hospital. It's not a normal thing, and it's not also menstruation. When you understand the concept of menstruation, menstruation means a pregnancy which was about to happen and hasn't taken place. So the womb was trying to prepare for the pregnancy. Now all that blood comes out. So if somebody is now pregnant, whatever bleeding is coming now is no more like a menstruation. Yes, some of these things do happen. Like I said, around the time the woman is expected to see her menses, during that time implantation is taking place. There are instances where a woman can have what we call implantation bleed, because when the baby is implanting into the womb, it's breaking the layer to fix the pregnancy there. So during those moments, sometimes there could be some small bleed, but it's not supposed to be heavy. Anything which is heavier than normal, the person should report to the hospital once they test positive. Yeah, we've seen a couple of pregnant women come in and say, okay, they've been seeing this blood every month. Yes, it's not common, but sometimes it happens. And that, normally when that happens, we call those things more of threatened miscarriage, meaning it's a pregnancy which wants to spoil, but it's still ongoing, okay, so it's not normal. So basically, once somebody tests positive for pregnancy, and now they start bleeding, they should report to their midwife or doctor. Then somebody will now do a scan to rule out, is it a normal pregnancy, or is the pregnancy outside the womb, okay, which is also not normal, and it's one of the danger diagnosis in pregnancy, like ectopic, or sometimes some other conditions like molar. Probably we'll discuss this later on, but it's not normal. So any woman who's pregnant and bleeding should report to the hospital.
So Doc has just made us understand that during your period of pregnancy, there is nothing like your menses coming. It could be an implantational bleeding, or probably there is something wrong with the pregnancy. So when you see any bleeding during the pregnancy, try as much as possible to report to your gynae or your midwife. Doc, please, what is your last word to our viewers? What would you want to tell our first-time pregnant mothers or women?
So our first-time pregnant mothers will just encourage them to at least, once somebody is expecting pregnancy and they miss their cycle, confirm that the pregnancy has taken place. The take-home message should be they should try and at least report to the hospital, as soon as possible, so that one now would be able to have an interaction with them and conversation, go through their history, examine them, and find out whether they have any risk factors which can at least more or less cause adverse outcome for the pregnancy, or it's just a low-risk pregnancy whereby we can at least help her go through the journey of the pregnancy and come out with a bouncing baby boy or a baby girl.
So doctor has made us understand that it is okay and it's normal for a pregnant woman to visit the clinic when you're pregnant. Don't wait till your tummy is out before you visit the clinic. Up next is our pregnancy tip for the week. Our tip is couples preparing to get pregnant or a woman preparing to get pregnant should refrain from drinking alcohol, smoking, taking in caffeinated drinks or foods, and stay healthy for a healthy pregnancy. Dr. Lee, thank you for coming on Pregnacare. We are so glad you made it, and we are so thankful for teaching us what a woman who is getting pregnant for the first time should expect. We are hoping that on one of our episodes, we'll still have you to come and educate us more on anything pregnancy.
Thank you.
So on today's episode, we were discussing what a first-time pregnant woman should expect. We've learned that when you are pregnant, you need to confirm actually you are pregnant. How do you do that? You could walk to a pharmacy to get a pregnancy strip, or you could visit the hospital to confirm you are pregnant. And then when you are confirmed, then you can visit your midwife to start your antenatal clinic, where you have your various screens and labs done. And it's also good that your partner or the male should be involved in the journey of pregnancy, because it brings out a successful journey of the pregnancy. And eating well, healthy diet, and having enough rest throughout your pregnancy journey brings a healthy baby. Thanks for watching today's episode. If you have any question or experience you want to share, kindly leave them in our comment section on all our social media platforms at the Pregnacare Show. And you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel at the Pregnacare Show. Thank you for watching. See you next week for a more interesting episode. The Pregnacare Show is proudly brought to you by
Mineral water, changing people's lives.